Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving into the MG ZS EV 2026 today. This is a car that's, well, it's become a bit of a phenomenon, hasn't it? Especially in the Middle East.
Absolutely. And we're not talking about some six-figure luxury EV here.
No, exactly. We're looking at a crossover that seems to have found its secret weapon in being affordable. Think places like Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE key markets, where this car is genuinely making waves, practical waves.
And what's really interesting, I think, is that the ZS EV isn't just, cheap. It's strategically priced. It's a modern vehicle offering a real entry point into owning an electric car.
Right. For families maybe needing that utility but just can't stretch to the usual premium EV prices.
It tackles that huge barrier, the main one, really, for global adoption cost.
So our mission today is kind of simple. Take the full dossier on the ZS EV, dig into it, and figure out if this mix, the modern design, the decent efficiency, that competitive price, if it actually holds up under scrutiny.
Yeah, are there compromises? Things that buyers, especially maybe in regions where the charging infrastructure is still, let's say, evolving, absolutely need to know about.
That's the core question. And we should remember, this isn't just theory, is it?
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier versions have already proven the concept. It's been topping search results in places like Saudi Arabia and Egypt for a while now.
So the appeal is real. It comes down to that combination of practical specs and a really aggressive price that just undercuts most rivals.
Okay, let's get into that value proposition, starting with the headline number, the price. When we say economic EV, what are we actually talking about financially?
Well, looking globally, it depends a bit on the trim, standard range versus the trophy long range. But the estimate is remarkably tight. You're looking at roughly $30,000 to maybe just under $40,000 USD.
Wow, okay. That really is a sweet spot for a family crossover.
It is.
And then translating that locally, say in Egypt, where you've got import duties and currency fluctuations, what does it look like there? Well, that's where it really cements its position. We're seeing prices starting around 990,000 Egyptian pounds for the comfort trim, going up a bit for the luxury. It clearly makes it one of the most attainable EVs out there.
Right. And that naturally leads to thinking about confidence, doesn't it? The long-term security. Affordability is great, but people, especially new EV buyers, they worry.
They worry about longevity, yeah.
Yeah.
And the big one, the battery cost down the line.
So how does MG handle that risk aversion, especially in markets where maybe getting specialist EV repairs isn't quite as straightforward yet?
They counter it with a really strong warranty package, one of the best, actually. The basic vehicle warranty is pretty solid, 6 years or 200,000 kilometers, whichever comes first.
Okay, that's good.
But the real kicker is the battery warranty. That's 8 years or 200,000 kilometers.
8 years, wow.
Yeah, that's MG. Leveraging its SAIC backing, basically signaling to buyers, look, we stand behind this core component for nearly a decade.
That must be a huge selling point. In a high-risk purchase environment, that confidence probably shifts a lot of units.
Definitely.
But hang on, that warranty is only as good as the ability to actually use it, right? If the local dealership struggles to get the necessary parts, even if the repair is covered, that's an issue.
That's a critical point, and yeah, we absolutely need to circle back to that supply chain aspect later. It's important.
Okay.
But first, maybe just for context, for anyone new to this model, we should quickly trace its evolution, because this 2026 model builds on some pretty rapid improvements.
Good idea. The first generation, that felt a bit like testing the waters, didn't it?
It did seem a bit cautious, yeah.
Yeah.
The models from 2019 to 2022, they were, let's say, conservative. About 143 horsepower, a fairly modest 44.5 kilowatt-hour battery.
Which gave you what, range-wise?
Only about 262 kilometers officially.
Yeah.
Fine for city driving, but it didn't really conquer that range anxiety people talk about.
But then the jump to the second generation, around 2022 onwards, that was a much bigger statement.
Oh, a total game changer. They seriously boosted the motor up to 177 horsepower. And crucially, they offered that much larger 72 kilowatt battery option. That pushed the maximum stated range up to 440 kilometers. That move really legitimized the ZS EV, I think. And it sets a very high bar for this 2026 model, which some analysts are suggesting might even hit 500 kilometers or more.
Right. That leap in range is probably what turned a lot of heads. Okay, let's shift to the mechanics of the 2026 model. Performance and tech. What's actually driving this thing?
It uses a permanent magnet synchronous motor, a PMSM. That's pretty standard, reliable tech for modern EVs. It delivers around 174 horsepower, that's 129 kilowatts, and about 280 newton meters of torque.
And that's going to the front wheels.
Yep, front-wheel drive through a single-speed automatic transmission. Standard EV setup, really.
So looking at those numbers, 174 horsepower, it's not going to set the world on fire, but probably perfectly adequate for everyday driving, especially in cities.
Exactly. It's tuned more for efficiency and smooth delivery, not raw speed, which is likely why the top speed is capped at 175 kilometers per hour.
Makes sense. Stability, energy optimization.
That's the focus. Acceleration isn't bad, though. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour comes in around 8.5 seconds. And honestly, with that instant EV torque, it probably feels a bit quicker off the line in city traffic than that number suggests.
Okay. Now, the big one, range reality. The standard version has around a 50.3 kilowatt battery, you said. What does that translate to in practical terms?
The generally quoted range is somewhere between 320 and 440 kilometers. Now, that's a fairly wide band.
Yeah, why so wide?
Well, it depends heavily on things like climate heating or AC use drains the battery fast to your driving style, obviously, and the exact battery pack fitted, because there might be slight variations.
But even at the lower end, say 320 kilometers, that's still pretty usable for most people, right? Daily commutes, school runs.
Oh, yeah. It makes it a very reliable city commuter. And it's capable enough for those shorter or medium-distance trips between cities. Covers the vast majority of typical family usage patterns.
Okay. But this brings us to charging. If it's an affordable EV, there have to be some trade-offs, and charging tech is often one area.
It is, yeah. It does support DC fast charging, which is pretty essential if you plan on doing longer journeys.
How fast are we talking?
You can usually get from near empty, say 0%, up to 80% charge in about 60 minutes. Sometimes, under ideal conditions, maybe even a bit less, like under 40 minutes. That's decent, quite competitive, actually.
But what about charging at home, the typical overnight routine?
Well, that's where you need a bit more patience. AC home charging is slower. Using a standard AC wall box or charger, you're looking at a full charge, taking somewhere between, say, 7.4 and 9 hours.
So basically plug it in when you get home and it'll be ready by morning.
Exactly. That works for most people's routines. But, if you needed a quick top-up midday at home, that long charge time feels like a significant commitment compared to some rivals that might have faster onboard AC chargers.
Right. It kind of forces you into that overnight charging habit.
Pretty much.
Okay, let's move inside. Utility. This is aimed at families, so the cabin, the boot space, that's all pretty critical.
For sure. And the cabin feels modern. It's a standard 5-seater setup. They haven't really skimped on the key tech people expect now.
Like this central screen.
Yeah, you get that 10.1-inch HD touchscreen right in the middle. It handles all the infotainment, vehicle settings, the usual stuff.
And presumably standard phone connectivity, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto.
Absolutely. It's standard. Plus voice command support. The focus inside really feels like convenience in keeping you connected, making that switch from a petrol car feel pretty seamless.
And practicality. Boot space. How much can you actually fit in the back?
Cargo space behind the rear seats is quoted at 448 liters.
448. How does that stack up? Is that good?
It's functional, perfectly fine for the weekly shopper luggage for a short family trip. And the seats fold down 60-40 split, so you can expand it for bigger items.
But I sense a but.
Well, it's just that 448 liters isn't exactly class-leading. Some competitors in the crossover space do offer noticeably more trunk volume. So it's usable, yes, but maybe not its strongest point if maximum cargo capacity is your absolute priority.
Now, something you mentioned earlier, safety. This seems to be a real strength.
It really is. And this is often that aha moment for buyers, I think. Realizing you can get top-tier safety in a car at this price point.
And it's not just the manufacturer saying that. Independent tests back it up.
Decisively. The MG ZS EV scored the maximum 5-star rating in the Euro NCAP crash tests.
Okay, that's impressive.
The detailed scores were excellent, too. 90% for adult occupant protection, 85% for child protection. That tells you the basic structure, the crashworthiness, is absolutely top-notch. Price doesn't compromise safety here.
And it's not just about surviving a crash, but avoiding one in the first place. What about active safety systems, ADS features?
Yeah, it comes with key ADS features included. Things like autonomous emergency braking, AED, and importantly, that includes pedestrian and cyclist detection. Also, lane keep assist to help you stay in your lane. And typically, at least 6 airbags is standard.
So the car is actively trying to help you avoid an accident.
Exactly. It's got that modern tech layer of protection, not just the passive safety stuff.
Okay, but we have to do the critical analysis now. You don't hit this kind of price without making some compromises somewhere. We mentioned the slower AC charging, but what else? Where are the trade-offs most noticeable?
We flagged about 3 main areas, really. First, the range. While it's perfectly adequate, as we said, it is noted as being less than some key competitors.
Like which ones?
Well, cars like the BYD 803 or even a Tesla Model 3 generally offer more range on a full charge. So if maximum possible distance is your absolute #1 priority, the ZS EV might feel a little short.
Okay, range limitation. What's second?
Interior quality. You kind of hinted at this. It's tough to build a crossover this size, pack it with tech and a big battery, and keep the price down without saving money somewhere on the materials.
So lots of plastic.
Yeah, you'll find more hard plastics used in the cabin, especially maybe in lower areas, out of direct sight lines. The overall design is modern, the fit and finish looks good, but the feel of the materials is often described as, let's say, medium.
Durable maybe, but not premium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel cheap necessarily, but it doesn't feel luxurious either. It feels appropriate for the price, perhaps.
That seems like a fair trade-off for many buyers. But the third point we noted earlier, the potential maintenance challenge. This seems like the trickiest one, especially for buyers in some of those Middle Eastern markets.
It's a bit of a paradox. On the one hand, you have low running costs, no oil changes, no spark plugs, that sort of thing. Big savings there. But the long-term anxiety kind of shifts. Despite that fantastic 8-year battery warranty, the source material we looked at specifically calls out that in some developing Arab markets, Egypt and Jordan were mentioned, the actual availability of specific MG EV spare parts can still be limited.
So you might have the warranty cover, but if the specific part you need isn't readily available in the country.
Exactly. If it takes weeks or even months for a particular component to arrive because the local supply chain hasn't fully matured to meet the demand from all these new ZS EVs on the road, well, your car is off the road.
Regardless of the warranty, that could mean long delays, maybe extra costs if you try and source it some other way.
Precisely. It's that potential headache. Sales might have grown faster than the supporting parts network in some places. It's a really crucial factor you have to weigh up, that logistical reality versus the warranty promise.
Okay. So if we pull back and look at the competition, the ZS EV isn't just up against other affordable EVs, is it? It's competing across the spectrum.
Yeah, it's a weirdly diverse competitive set.
Right.
Everything from maybe a smaller, cheaper city EV like the BYD Seagull, all the way up to performance EVs like the Tesla Model Y, or even large, expensive family haulers like the Kia EV9.
So where does the ZS EV fit in that landscape?
It carves out a very specific niche, doesn't it? It's squarely positioned as the practical, safe, and crucially the affordable EV crossover. It offers a balance of size, tech, and safety that the really cheap city cars can't match, while massively undercutting the premium end by tens of thousands of dollars. It sits right in that practical middle ground.
Right. So to wrap up this deep dive then, the MG ZS EV 2026. Its success seems to come down to being a masterclass in hitting a specific market need.
I think so. It's cost-effective, it boasts high safety ratings, it's engineered perfectly for city life and those medium-range trips, and it's all backed by that really significant warranty package, the 6-year vehicle, 8-year battery one.
It blends that UK design heritage with the huge manufacturing power of SAI being built in China, India, Indonesia, to make EV ownership genuinely attainable for a wider audience.
Yeah, and maybe here's the final thought to leave you with. Analysts are predicting this 2026 model might soon push past 500 kilometers of range. That makes it seriously competitive on distance with almost anything else out there.
Okay.
So the question becomes, does that aggressive price, combined with potentially even better range, finally outweigh the compromises we talked about? Did the overall value proposition make up for the slower AC charging, the sort of medium interior materials?
And crucial.
And more critically, especially if you're listening in the Middle East, how do you weigh that excellent 8-year warranty promise against the current reality of potentially limited spare parts availability in some areas? What price are you truly willing to pay for that peace of mind? It's about balancing the financial saving up front against that potential logistical friction down the road, something to really think about.